Welcome to The Explainer. There's a global nuclear renaissance happening right now, and one company, Nano Nuclear Energy, just dropped an earnings update that's telling a fascinating story about strategy, timing, and some seriously high-stakes execution. So let's dive in. Here's the game plan for today. We're going to start with the big picture, this nuclear renaissance. Then we'll cover Nano's big bet and their strategy, which is about way more than just reactors. After that, we'll look at their progress, check out the numbers, and finally, talk about the road ahead. Okay, first things first, the new nuclear renaissance. To really get what nanonuclear is doing, you have to understand the massive global wave they're riding right now. Yeah, you heard that right. The company's own founder is calling this a global nuclear renaissance. And look, this isn't just some marketing buzzword. There are some incredibly powerful forces at play here. So what's really fueling this fire? Well, it really boils down to three huge drivers. First, the absolutely insane energy demand from AI data centers. We're talking a projected 8% of all U.S. power by 2030. Second, you've got global climate mandates pushing to triple nuclear capacity. And third, and this is rare, you've got real bipartisan support in the U.S. aiming to quadruple it. Okay, so with that massive tailwind at their back, let's zero in on nanonuclear's big bet, the one brilliant move that basically changed the entire game for them. So the story here is pretty wild. Before nanonuclear even entered the picture, the original creators of their main reactor tech, well, they'd already poured over $120 million into developing it. And then, get this, Nano Nuclear swoops in and buys all that incredible R&D out of bankruptcy for less than $10 million. I mean, talk about a strategic masterstroke. It gave them an absolutely massive head start for pennies on the dollar. And they didn't waste a single second putting that head start to use. I mean, the tech already had a key regulatory green light in Canada, so just 3 months after buying it, bam, Nano Nuclear announces its first actual reactor build at the University of Illinois. That's just incredible speed. Okay, so this is where their real genius starts to show. Because for Nano Nuclear, it's not enough to just build the fanciest reactors. No, their game is about controlling the entire ecosystem that makes them run. They're going all in on what's called vertical integration. And here's why that's so smart. The company's leadership looked at the landscape and said, you know what? The biggest hurdle here isn't the reactor tech, it's the fuel. So their whole strategy is built around owning the fuel supply chain from start to finish. And they are not messing around. To crack that fuel problem, they're tackling the whole thing. First, upstream, they're looking into mining. Second, enrichment, they've become a key player in a major Department of Energy program. And third, transportation, they're even developing their own patented tech to move this stuff around safely. All right, so having a great strategy on paper is one thing, but can you actually pull it off? Let's look at the hard proof. The real, tangible stuff they've actually gotten done just this year. And man, the pace has just been absolutely relentless. In April, they signed that Illinois deal. A few months later, boom, they've got a brand new engineering hub. And by July, they've already built a critical prototype pump. This is a super important piece of proprietary tech for these next-gen reactors. And this is why all that speed in tech matters so much. You have to understand how different their Kronos microreactors are from the old-school nuclear plants. Forget those giant multi-billion-dollar construction projects. Kronos reactors, they're totally modular, built in a factory like a car. They're scalable, and this is the real game changer. They're designed to be so safe you can literally put one right next to a customer's site, like a data center or a military base. Okay, that's the tech and the strategy. But what about the money? Let's look at the numbers and see how Wall Street is feeling about all this, because a great plan needs capital and confidence to make it happen. First up, let's talk discipline. In their latest report, they actually surprised Wall Street. They lost 8 cents less per share than everyone was expecting. For a company that's not even selling anything yet, that's a really strong sign that they're managing their money well. But honestly, this is the headline number right here. Their war chest. They are sitting on over $210 million in cash.
In an industry this expensive, having that kind of cash on hand is a massive, massive advantage.
And that cash buys them time. A lot of time. They figure they'll spend about $40 million a year to hire people and run the business. So you do the math, that gives them a multi-year cushion to get this done without having to go back to investors for more money.
So the big question is, how have investors reacted to all this? Well, take a look at this. Over the last year, Nano Nuclear stock is up nearly 328%. Meanwhile, the broader nuclear sector, it's up just under 18%. That is a huge vote of confidence. The market is absolutely buying into this story.
Okay, so they've got the strategy, they're making real progress, and they have the cash to back it all up. But what comes next? Let's talk about the road ahead and some of the major hurdles they still have to clear.
And really, when you strip everything else away, it all boils down to this one simple question. Because for all the progress, for all the cash, the market is watching for one thing and one thing only. Can they actually build it? The risk, in a single word, is execution. So here's what you need to watch for. They're aiming to get their construction permit applications submitted by late 2025, maybe early 2026. From there, you're looking at a 12 to 18-month wait for the green lights. Now, if they can actually hit those dates, they could be the very first commercial microreactor to get to that stage in the entire United States. That would be huge. So there you have it. That's the Nano Nuclear story. On one side, you've got this perfectly positioned company with amazing tech they got for a bargain, playing in a market that's absolutely exploding. But on the other side, you have the enormous challenge of being the first to cross the finish line in one of the toughest industries on the planet. So what do you think? Are they really building the future of energy? Or is this just a high-stakes bet that's going to require everything to go perfectly? How this all plays out? Well, it's going to be a defining chapter in our energy story for sure.